Beg your pardon. Forgot to knock.
Welcome back to James Bond Aficionado. Tonight I have Jocelyn with Ladies Who Bond. How are you doing tonight, Jocelyn?
Hi, I'm good. Doing pretty good.
That's good. Jocelyn, let's talk about your introduction into the James Bond universe, if you don't mind.
Okay. So my very first introduction to Bond was actually through band in middle school. That was 7th grade. And we had a band competition and coming up, and we were playing a melody of James Bond music. It was 4 different songs. The theme song, was it Live and Let Die, For Your Eyes Only, and I forgot the other one. Goldfinger. So at the time, I didn't know anything about Bond, and I think that was when they came out with that 2-pack CD for the 25th anniversary, and so our teacher would play it in the middle of class to help us learn the music, and that kind of got me interested in it. So started with the music, and then it wasn't until high school that I found a little bit, discovered more about Bond with watching GoldenEye on TV. And then I think my first movie in the theater was Tomorrow Never Dies. So, and then after that, just, pulled me in little by little. So.
Absolutely. What instrument did you play back in your days of when you were doing this, and which one was your favorite piece that you got to play?
So I play French horn, the one that looks like a cinnamon roll, and actually I still play, so something that I still do. Of those 4 pieces, I think my favorite one was probably For Your Eyes Only. So it was kind of a challenging piece, but it was a lot of fun to play.
Oh, I can imagine, and especially when that's more. I don't know how to describe it. It really isn't that much of an instrumental type song.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's more Sheena Easton, of course, singing her lungs out, saying, "For your eyes only." But we don't want to judge my singing there. So, if anyone wants a recording of my singing, hit me up. I'm willing to record for you.
I think the most memorable one, like not playing wise, is probably Live and Let Die, because we had listened to that song in class so many times that we actually all started singing it as a class, and that was pretty great. That's a really good memory. Just people being kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. And I think Live and Let Die was actually the 3rd movie I saw. Because I remember, let me think, 3rd or 4th. Because I remember going Thunderball, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and then it would have to probably be 4th, because I remember coming up with my grandparents and I didn't have really any of the Bond movies on tape at that time, but I saw them on TBS, because that time was the home of Bond on TV, and
right.
I remember coming up here and watching them and renting Live and Let Die, and Yaphet Kotto's epic death of Dr. Kananga and blowing up. I was like, that is the most cheesiest death of any of them, and none of the franchise was ever like that. It was just Roger Moore from that house. So tell us, what do you think about No Time to Die so far? What's your impressions that you're getting at from what we've seen from all the multiple trailers to the theme song from Billie Eilish, since that just dropped? What do you what are you getting from everything so far?
Geez. There's a lot of different things going on. I'm pretty excited. Like, all the footage I've seen so far, like, there seems to be a lot of stuff going on. I'm pretty thrilled with the cast that they have, especially with all the ladies that they've casted. The theme song, I'm still kind of in the middle. I think I'm keeping an open mind and hoping that it will be better when I see the opening in the movie. So I guess it's been about a week now since it's come out.
Yeah, it sounds about right, because Chris, that one Bond guy,
Oh yeah.
and I all talked about it, and it seems like it's been about a week. So yeah, I would say that. And that link will be down below if you want to check out that video of us three talking about the theme song of No Time to Die with Billie Eilish singing it. So what do you think of probably the Dr. No rumors of Rami Malek? Do you think
I hope not.
there's any connection? Are you going to be disappointed if he's Dr. No?
A little bit. I don't know, like, because I was kind of so on the whole Blofeld thing too when Spectre happened. So, I mean, I would hope not, because I feel like this is an original story that they're putting together. I mean, if they're going through all of this effort to weave all of the movies together, I'm not really sure that I would want, him to be Dr. No. But I think there's definitely all of those elements that people have, like, brought up, and it's like, well, if it's making him seem like it without him being it, I think I'd be okay with that. But at the same time, I don't really know where they're going with this. I think a lot of us are kind of wondering what will happen after the end of this movie, So.
No, I agree, and I've been thinking about that a lot as well. I've said before, yeah, he could be Dr. No, but again, we really don't know what's going to happen. All we know, it's Daniel Craig's last Bond film.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz is back as Blofeld. Leia Seydoux is back as Madeleine Swann, and she has some big secret. That's all we really know.
Yeah.
Well, and the brief little synopsis that we got saying that Bond's living in a tranquil life, retired. And I was like, okay, well, I guess they're not going to really give us any hints, and they're going to surprise us pretty good with this one. So, and I've also said to myself numerous times, if he's not Blofeld, if he's Dr. No, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, I don't know if I could go through that again. It's like, yeah, I understand the reintroduction to Blofeld, because we didn't have the rights for so many years.
Right.
But Dr. No, I think that could steer people away from the franchise.
I mean, I feel like it could go to, one of two ways. It just seems like with all the talk with No Time to Die that, and I guess this kind of has to do with, like, the Billie Eilish theme of, you kind of have this one group of people who is, like, the older Bond generation, right? And then now that when you think about Daniel Craig's tenure, it's been a really long time. And some people who are just getting into Bond now, like, that's all they know. Mm-hmm. Unless they're super, super into Bond and go backwards, and start exploring. So I kind of wonder what they're thinking. I mean, in some ways, if they did start over and have him as Dr. No, like, they can start a whole new bunch of stuff, and then, you know, the people who have been fans for a really long time are kind of like, well, now what, you know? Kind of makes me think of how many times they've rebooted Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's just...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, and to a certain extent with Batman as well.
But Batman has been one of those things, you know, yeah, you gotta reintroduce a new Batman every so often to spice it up. It's like it's Spider-Man. Well, I would say any of the Marvel DC is like that. You have to introduce a new character. But Bond is one of those things. You only really need to cast James Bond, and the supporting cast like Moneypenny, M, Q behind him. You need to cast kind of young so you can actually drag them out long. Now, given that being said, I think that was a smart hire when they casted Ben Wishaw's Q.
Yeah.
Naomi Harris as Moneypenny. She's still fairly young. Oh, well, she is.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Fiennes is the only one that's... he's probably, I think, 50s. I'm not sure about that. But, you know, he could go for a long time in this series.
Yeah.
The only person they need to recast behind the scenes now is just Daniel.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that unless if he randomly says, oh, hey, I'm coming back to do one more. It's like, well, you said that numerous times. You've also said that you're going to slash your wrist after Spectre, too. So, I can't compare the Bond franchise to DC or Marvel, unfortunately.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But you know, I could see, hey, if he is Dr. No, let's say, just maybe don't kill Dr. No at the end of this one. Let him be at large for whoever's the next James Bond, and start it off as the next movie as Dr. No. This was the prequel to restarting the series.
Yeah.
So introduce, bring back Rami Malek as Dr. No, and then the new Bond goes off to Jamaica again and hunts down Dr. No in Crab Key and finally kill him. So that's one idea as well. So
yeah, I think it could go either way. So I guess we'll just have to see what they're planning.
So what do you think about, we're going to keep it on No Time to Die.
Okay.
Yeah, so with that being said, Bond is seen at Vesper's grave.
Was that confirmed?
Yes, that it's been confirmed from MI6 HQ. Thank you out to them that it's Bond standing out in front of Vesper's grave. Now, I don't know. They didn't say who wrote that note. So my question is to you, do you think it's a Madeleine Swann note to Bond saying forgive him, or do you think it's from Vesper in the past?
I don't know. I bet it would probably be Madeleine. I mean, she's already got secrets. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be. I mean, I have to rewatch the movies again. I mean, now that I think about it, but it's Madeleine is the daughter of Mr. White.
That is correct.
And then Mr. White was going after Vesper, right?
Yeah, because he was part of Quantum, and then of course, because we didn't have the rights, Quantum formed into Spectre.
Spectre, right. So there must be something in between all of that.
Yeah, and I am hoping, because the fact that we have the rights to Spectre now.
Yeah.
Even though they flashed back briefly and discussed where Bond was in that car chase with Mr. Hinks and Spectre,
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, you've had dealings with him before." Quantum. Oh, Mr. White. I'm hoping they'll bring up Quantum in this film with a big chunk of it and discussing, yes, Quantum is definitely part of Spectre, and tie it all together and
Well,
give it
yeah.
more.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
I would hope so.
so,
With all of, I mean, because that would kind of be unfortunate to ignore that.
but you think it's Madeleine?
I think so. I think so.
Why do you think Madeleine?
I,
Just because of the secrets potentially, or
yeah, I don't know. Just gut feeling,
what
I
do you
guess.
think and what do you think that secret could be?
It must be something with her and Spectre and her dad. There must be something that has happened and that she's involved with, and maybe she had to keep those secrets away. I don't know. But I mean, just seeing some of the behind the scenes shoots, like of her and Matera, like I saw people posting pictures or videos on YouTube of like them filming some of those scenes of just her, where she's just in her shirt. And I'm like, I wonder if that's some sort of reflection, maybe her decision to leave. Because that's what it seems like. It seems like a very like she's going through a very emotional situation. I don't know.
I I think from what I know I've gathered from now since we've had the song drop, which I should have probably not listened to, it's gonna be an emotional movie.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
With Bond, uh, Madeleine, all around, I think it's gonna be one of the most depressing, one of the most darkest Bond films since License to Kill. Um, the list goes on. I'm just so mind blown, and it's gonna have probably a lot of flashbacks to looking back. Why did Madeleine do this? Why is Bond going out? Because it's probably another revenge story, to be honest. It's not probably a true mission. It's probably Bond going rogue again. Now I could be wrong, but that's one speculation I have. So
Yeah.
where do you think Eon should go after Daniel Craig's departure? And who would you want to see casted as James Bond 007?
Um, I don't really have anybody specifically in mind. I'm pretty open, I think. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who could be a good James Bond. Um, in terms of where to go, I hope that they take the time to explore some of the other novels that the other people have written.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, that kind of goes back to that: are they going to start over? If this ends up being Doctor No, that they could start over. Which then, I mean, it's like, oh, I don't have any control over that, But
Yeah.
I mean, I know they did that with some of the Pierce movies where they've explored, they've done some of the other books that are written by Ian Fleming, and I think that would be kind of interesting to make those into movies.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the like Anthony Horowitz,
Yeah, I think
Raymond Benson.
yeah,
The list goes on with. I think that would probably be a smart way to go, and especially if they can get the rights to the book. Personally, I think that's the one direction they should go, or go back and look at some of the scripts that they writ and before and did not use. Like, for instance, they had Timothy Dalton's third Bond film written out, but they didn't make it because of the writers' strike. They could use that. They could use. They could redo. Well, they could look back and do Sean Connery's Warhead, because they have the rights to Spectre, but just spice it up and not make it like, because I think that was supposed to be like Thunderball as well, if I remember. Redo that. There's so much out there now, like, and especially when we've had these continuations from Horowitz and Benson.
Right. Yeah.
So you're right. I absolutely agree with you. They need to explore and see what truly is out there.
I mean, I think with Daniel Craig leaving, this kind of gives them an open canvas, really, to do whatever they want to do. So hopefully they take, chances, because that would be kind of, I mean, I guess even with No Time to Die, this is quite a big chance that they're taking. It's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially with Daniel Craig, I think, now that I think about it, when the first time I saw Casino Royale, I actually really didn't like it because I thought there were too many explosives. And this almost, like Daniel Craig being almost invincible. Like that one, the scene in the very beginning where he's like chasing, I forgot his name, but they're like going through all that construction and stuff, and he just barrels through the drywall, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, no regular person could do that. And then now it's like, after all these movies, we're coming to this, and they're telling us, oh, it's going to be a really emotional movie. And I'm like, we're kind of coming full circle,
I don't know if you listen. I'm going to jump back to No Time to Die. I know I've been doing that a lot so far within this interview. Do you watch Calvin Dyson at all?
I finally just started watching some of his stuff. I mean,
did you watch his video on potentially M being a villain?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
You need to watch it.
I know people were talking about it from the snippets of from that one. What was it? From the commercial, one of the commercials, right?
Yeah.
One of the trailers.
Yeah. You need to watch it because he makes a good point. What if M is really a villain in No Time to Die? Could you see something like that? Because, of course, in Spectre, MI6 was infiltrated and compromised.
I hope not, because I like Ralph Fiennes a lot.
Yep.
But I also think...
Are you secretly a Harry Potter fan? Is that what we're saying?
No, I actually like him in the Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a great movie. Yeah, I love him in that. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean...
Yeah, I agree. I as much as I enjoyed Calvin's theory on that, but I don't want to see Rafa as a villain.
Yeah.
I think that might actually hurt the series in my eyes, just because I love his version of M. And yeah, we only saw it briefly in Skyfall, but we saw it full on in Spectre. And now we get another full movie with him. I can't wait to see, because he's such a great actor. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him in Schindler's List.
Yeah. And
of course, Grand Budapest. The list goes on. He is such a well, and even, I'm not gonna lie, I like Harry Potter, and he was great as Voldemort. So I don't want to see it happen. I agree.
I think when people were saying that, like on the forums, like, oh, maybe is gonna be a traitor, I kind of had a Kingsman moment,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, let's not do that. Let's.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be when Michael Caine got poisoned. So.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have. So going forward, do you think the franchise is going to last much longer? Because we've had 55, 56 years now. How much longer do you think this franchise could last?
I hope forever.
Okay, good answer.
Yep. I know I'm pretty sure with Barbara and Michael, if they're still around and kicking, I think they're still gonna keep trying. But I think that's also why they're trying extra hard with like getting Billy on board and Hans and all of these big names. I think they're trying to bring back a much bigger audience. I think it doesn't help that they're only putting movies out every 4 or 5 years. I think that's really hurt them quite a bit. Like in comparison to how long, like with all the Star Wars movies, how long has that been? It's only been like 2 years, and then there's another one. I'm like, oh god, hadn't even seen the last one, and
it's hard to keep up with Star Wars, and especially with theirs, because their movies last 2 hours plus. Our Bond films at least average a 2 hour and 10-minute time frame.
Yeah.
And we get them every 4 years, if lucky. And Michael G. Wilson isn't getting any much younger. He's up in his 70s, but I hope he passes it down to his son.
Or somebody, or I hope that they have an exit plan,
but Barbara is still she's only in her 50s or 60s, and if, let's say, Barbara and Michael's son, Greg, because Greg's a producer on the film, assistant or full-on producer now, or even bring back, I think Daniel Craig he was credited as a producer, I think inspector, or he was a writer or something like that. I can't remember right now on the top of my head. Even bring back Daniel Craig to help produce or something, just so, because they would have the former Bond feel, and they can go to him to say, what do we really need to do to keep this series going? Like, you've been in the role of 007 for this many years. What do you think? What could you see in this future? And for the actor, and at the same time coach the new James Bond during the time period as well. So that's another idea as well. So you also did On the Tracks of 007 for the 50th of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Let's talk briefly about that before we get to the rapid fire questions, if you don't mind.
Okay. So that was a fantastic trip. Peace Gloria was on my bucket list of places to visit, just because it's amazing and beautiful. And it just so happened that my parents were actually going on vacation to Europe for a different reason, and I was like, well, we'll just go to Europe with you, because it was going to be my dad's first time. And then along the way, as we were planning that trip out, that's when I started seeing posts about this big trip for the 50th, and then I was like, David, this is the weekend my parents are going to the wedding that we're not invited to. Like, we can go to this, and we did. So we didn't go on the Portugal part, but we did the Switzerland part, and it was phenomenal. Like, I had never been to a Bond event before, and that was my first one, and that kind of set the bar pretty high. It was a lot of fun, just seeing all the sights and meeting the actors. And then the big party at Peace Gloria, like that doesn't happen to the public. I mean, we have the entire place to ourselves in the, at the middle of the night, and the music was great. It was just an amazing experience.
Is it true what they say? Once you get up there with the altitude, it's hard to breathe. If you have breathing issues.
Possibly. I mean, I didn't have a problem, but I know Warren was talking about like his band, and I'm like, but they were playing a whole full concert, so like kudos to them for being prepared and just blasting everybody out of the water. But I think the other thing that helped was with so I was part of the VIP group, and that included lodging, and we got to stay in the town of Murin, which is it's a whole series of cable cars, and you have to take one or two sets of cable cars to get to Murin, and it's you can't even get to it by car. So we stayed there for 3 or 4 nights, and I think once you're up at that altitude, like getting higher up is a little bit easier because you've already acclimated.
So who did you get to sit by?
So I got to sit next to Terrance Mountain and his lovely wife, and they were super sweet. That was during the dinner party when we were at Peace Gloria. So I think everyone had different people from the movie, either actors or people who are involved in other ways, like at each table. And that was great because through the whole time we were there, we kept running into people who had met him during the Portugal part and said, this guy's really great and he's super nice and everything. And we didn't have a chance to really meet him. So it was kind of a nice surprise to, get to the table that you're, supposed to sit at, and all of a sudden he's there. And so.
Can you talk about what happened at the bar?
Oh, you mean with my husband, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I know that story, but everybody else does.
So I didn't get to experience this, but because I was up at Peace Gloria with like my newfound friends, and my husband decided.
Newfound friends. I'm kind of jealous.
I have met so many nice people from that event. Like, if Martin does an event next year in Vegas, like, we should totally go.
Oh, I agree. Hopefully, he is listening, and if he is, or if no one has to get a hold of Martin Mulder, please let me know, because I would love to talk to him to see if he actually really is throwing an event in Vegas.
That would be awesome. So I wasn't in the picture, and my husband was hanging outside in front of the hotel that we were staying at, and Terrance Mountain just walks on by. And because we had seen him, that we were at dinner the night before with them, he just started talking to my husband, and he's like, I'll buy you beer. And my husband's like, what? What? Okay. And so they were chatting, and he bought him a beer. And then he says, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the other hotel. Do you want more drinks? And my husband's like, sure. So he walked with him back to the other hotel and had more drinks. So that was a special moment for him. I'm a bit jealous, but.
Well, I would be too.
Yeah.
If I was in your shoes, I'd be like,
yeah.
Do you know who you were just talking to? And I know you and I both know this. Your husband's not the big Bond fan like you are.
He likes it. Like, he indulges me. So, but he's not as crazy as I am.
But still, I'd be like, do you know who you were just talking to? You were just talking to Terrance Mountain. He played Raphael, the Marc-Ange Draco's henchman in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and he was also in Diamonds Are Forever at the opening sequence.
We were watching that, and it was like, oh, is that Terrance? Yeah. Oh, well, he's dead now, but...
Got a few knives in him, or I should say scalpels. Great acting by Terry Mountain right there, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but he's a sweet guy.
Yeah. He's always, I've heard people say that numerous times. Terrance Mountain is one of the nicest out there, and he would be one of the persons I would love to meet, just because, like I said, in the past, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is easily my favorite Bond film of all time. Like, Thunderball's up there, yes, because it was the first one I saw, but On Her Majesty's Secret Service, let alone, is the most beautiful. It has the best score. It's just overall, it got it all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of jealous that you got to do that trip, because I heard about it and I looked at the prices, and you know what? It's kind of far to fly from the West Coast, and you know that.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, if you do fly to Europe, I highly recommend taking Norwegian, because it's kind of it's like the Southwest of flying to Europe. It was super cheap. But like, they'll charge you for bags. Like, they're the airline company that charges you for everything, but at the same time, like, you could totally fly business class and have extra space, and it was pretty affordable.
I take it you flew out of LAX for that.
Yeah.
So how about we hop into these rapid fire questions?
Okay.
Favorite Bond movie to this day?
Yikes. That's hard. Maybe GoldenEye. Probably GoldenEye.
Favorite aspect from the movie?
What was it?
Favorite aspect of GoldenEye, I should say.
Oh, GoldenEye. Jeez, all of it. I love all the characters because they're all different, and some of them are a little kooky.
Favorite music score from a Bond film?
Ooh. Probably On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's a great score.
Favorite villain?
Favorite villain? I don't know. There's so many of them. Maybe Electra King, because you don't really see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What Bond car would you want to drive as your personal driver? Gadgets can be included. Just can't use them on personal on the civilians, unfortunately. This is not Grand Theft Auto.
Oh no. Gosh. I mean, the DB5 is just a great car. I don't know how well it drives though. So...
Well, the question is, I think it was Jay Sadowski when I was interviewing him. He said he would want the one with the one from No Time to Die because it's BMW engine.
Oh yeah.
So that's definitely gonna get up there and go.
Like, they should make that, and then we can drive them around. That would be pretty rad.
Let me think of a couple other ones real quick. Least favorite Bond film?
Least favorite Bond.
Or the one that you won't watch, like go to and watch the most, or...
Probably Spectre. I left that movie very, very angry. I just...
Okay.
I think it was the soundtrack that really got me, and then I was just angry, and then I think it just affected, everything else, like chain reaction.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It pretty much felt like to me that it was definitely felt reused and recycled from Skyfall.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm a bit of a music snob, unfortunately. So that's, yeah.
Favorite Bond location that you've been to?
Probably Peace Gloria.
No.
I haven't been to any others that really that can compare to the Swiss mountains. It's amazing.
Well, I saw your pictures, and I've seen a lot of other pictures, and I've
Yeah.
seen videos. It looks absolutely amazing. And I saw, I follow Schlitthorn up on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Watching
Yeah.
watching their stories, it's just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
just transforms you, and it jumps you into like, okay, I'm so jealous. I wish I could make it out there sometime.
Well, we should make a trip.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I got my passport. I'm all ready.
I think one of the most amazing moments that we could do as like an extra add-on was do a helicopter tour, and that was pretty amazing. Like my husband has a little fear of being in a helicopter, so I was like, well, if anything happens, at least we'll go out in the most amazing place possible. But we flew around and they showed us like where they had filmed some of the ski chases and where they blew up different places, and then they just dropped us off in the middle of the mountain and we just got off with nothing but you in the mountains. It was pretty amazing.
Favorite actor that's played James Bond to this date?
That's hard. Like when you're a fan of the franchise, like that's such a tough question. I don't know. I really love Pierce in GoldenEye, like a lot. But I also like Sean Connery. I mean, I can't answer that.
Yeah, I still get asked that all the time. Like, who's your favorite Bond? And
no, yeah.
And it's like, I can't answer that question. I've been a fan of this series for so many years. It's hard, and it's like every actor's brought their own. Like, Sean was fantastic at the one-liners, and he was just George. George showed the emotion side, and especially at the end of Honor Her Majesty's Secret Service with Tracy's death, and Roger had the charm, the funny jokes, and at times he would show the cold side. Of course, when he kicked the car off in For Your Eyes Only. Tim was great. But he didn't really get the chance. Like, I love License to Kill, but I'm not that big of a fan on The Living Daylights, which Pierce, brings the suave, and Daniel is just another pretty much replica of Sean, unfortunately, and that's what I see in my eyes. But they all bring something different.
Yeah, they're definitely.
So Jocelyn, we also know that you're on Instagram.
Right.
Ladies Who Bond.
Yep. Ladies Who Bond.
You finally hit 200 followers, which congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks. Thanks.
Are you just going to stick with, what do you think is your plan going forward? Are you just going to stick with the Instagram platform? Or are you going to try branching off the YouTube, Facebook? What do you think your future of going forward is on your account?
I think for now I'm going to stick with Instagram just because it's easy. It kind of fits around my really busy schedule. But maybe I might explore more. I don't know. I'm kind of going to test the waters and kind of see where I'm at. I mean, I mostly just wanted a place to share all of my stuff.
Yeah.
And then I kind of felt bad sharing it with my normal friends. So I thought, well, if I just created a separate account, I think I could share it with people who would actually appreciate it.
So, and the last question I have for you, who are some of your influences that got you into this Bond community, I should say?
I think my biggest influence is actually not like one person or anything, but I would have to say it's the AJB community, because I was a lurker on their forums for a really long time. And then maybe was it around Skyfall that I finally bit the bullet and actually made an account? there, but I just like those guys are, and you know, a lot of the other people like in big names are all on there anyway. But everyone's really supportive. I mean, yeah, because I mean everybody already knows who all the big names are, you know. But
Do we really? I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Our community's pretty small, so
it's small, but it's big at the same time.
yeah.
And it's crazy because we got so many people everywhere. And I never thought it was this big until I joined personally. So
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I've worked on AJB for several years, but I never joined. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't joined. But you know, I lurked on the others' profiles like David Zaritsky's, Joe Darlington's, Calvin Dyson again. Let's see, James Bond Radio. I listen to their podcast all the time. The list goes on. And then one day I just was like, you know what? I can't hide behind this shade for much longer. I gotta join this, and there's like-minded people out there, and
yeah.
it's good to finally be part of it because everybody's so accepting. And you know, I learned a lot from you in the short time that we've talked. I've learned a lot from Chris, that one Bond guy, Joe, everybody. It's just I can't be more thankful, and I know you probably feel the same exact way.
Yeah. I think going to Switzerland with that group kind of made me realize that everyone is really super nice. I mean, everyone on the forums is really nice too, but when you can actually put a face, you know, to a name, or at least just meet fans like in person, I think that's really great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't had a bad experience yet. Especially being a girl, you know, being a woman, you know, in the community, I haven't had any problems with the folks. So.
Well, let's hope not, and let's hope it keeps on going strong for you because you
Yeah.
hit 200 followers pretty
I
fast.
know.
So, again, congratulations to you on that. So,
Thank you.
and I have appreciated recording with you tonight, and I've appreciated recording with you the other night doing the reaction video of.
Oh yeah.
I can't be more thankful. One does that. Thanks a lot of people for everything that they've done. So once again, thank you and congratulations on 200 followers.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on here. I mean, you were the first one that reached out to me, so.
Well, but you know, Chris was able to drop his first. Unfortunately, I've had my video with you get corrupted, so I'm glad we got to actually re-record. So.
Yeah.
For James Bond Aficionado, I'm Brian Levesque. I'm signing off. Thank you, Jocelyn, once again.
Yep. Thank you.